Sky Sports F1 UK commentator Martin Brundle says that he'd be worried for Mercedes pilot George Russell should reigning world champion Max Verstappen spring into the driver market. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff preached stability at the 2025 season opener in Australia and admitted he'd given up on securing Verstappen and that Russell would be re-signed ahead of the summer break. But Brundle says things aren't so clear-cut, despite rumors a Russell deal is now close. Toto missed Max once. I don't think he'll miss him a second time, should he get the opportunity, Brundle said. Staying with Mercedes, where technical director James Allison says the W16 has proved it's not a diva like its predecessor, with upgrades now needed to bolt onto the car to extract its ultimate pace. The Silver Arrows are enjoying a stronger season in 2025, with almost 3 times the points it had after 4 races last year, 93 to 34. But Allison says while the W16 is a more stable car, there's more speed to come, meaning it's up to the team to now deliver development.
This car, we've been to all manner of tracks. We've run in the wet, we've run in the dry, we've run cool, we've run hot, we've run with the wind on our nose, on our tail, and it's pretty well mannered all the time, which has meant that we're able to get the most from it. We're still lacking that last little bit of pace, but at least we've got something that we can present to most tracks and know that we're going to have a reasonably tidy weekend.
Pressure is increasing on FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem, with Deputy President for Sport Robert Reid, the governing body's latest exit. Reid, who left on the eve of the Bahrain Grand Prix, cited a fundamental breakdown in governance standards, a point backed up by former FIA CEO Natalie Robin, who said motorsport's governing body has serious ongoing structural challenges. Though the FIA refuted Reid's reasoning in a later statement that said it has exceptionally robust corporate governance policies. In late February, Reid and Motorsport UK chairman David Richards were refused entry to the FIA's most recent meeting of the World Motorsport Council due to their refusal to sign non-disclosure agreements. Reid's exit follows that of sporting director Steve Nielsen, single-seater technical director Tim Goss, F1 race director Niels Wittich, veteran steward Tim Mayer, and F2 race director Jeanette Tan. Lewis Hamilton made progress in Bahrain, with the Ferrari driver going from 9th on the grid to finish 5th, but the Brit says he's made more on understanding the SF25. Hamilton joined the prancing horse this season after a 12-year stint with Mercedes, but he's needed time to adapt to the red car, including engine settings and Brembo brakes, and believes Bahrain was a breakthrough, with an even more polished performance expected in Saudi Arabia. I think I've figured out how the car likes to drive, so hopefully, if I can apply that next week, if I can qualify better, I can have a much better weekend. I know I can, and I will, Hamilton said. Staying with Ferrari, where Ambassador Marc Gené says he now understands why the team's new recruit Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time world champion, with the Brit more than the title-winning cars he's driven. Gené has been at Ferrari since 2004 and worked with all the Scuderia's modern greats, champions like Michael Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel. But the Spaniard, an ex-F1 driver of 36 starts with Minardi and Williams, told official podcast Beyond the Grid that Hamilton is already proving his significant worth at Ferrari.
Already in the briefings, when he talks, you can really tell that he's really giving some very important information, and then he's very exceptional in tire management. So you can see, I look at the telemetry and you see some things that he's very exceptional. I know people say, he won so much because he had the best team. Now that I've seen him, there's a reason why he won so much.
Red Bull team boss Christian Horner says his squad has to keep pushing to take opportunistic results off front-runner McLaren. Red Bull's four-time F1 world champion Max Verstappen astonished in Japan when he snatched pole position with a stunning final lap, one that enabled him to win the race, his first in 2025. But while Bahrain was a far tougher race for the squad, Horner, in a chat with official podcast F1 Nation, says more can be done if the team just retains its focus during sessions.
You just got to keeping the pressure on. I mean, on Friday, if you just said that we'd get pole position and win the race, I think you get better odds than the horse that won the Grand National yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Williams driver Carlos Sainz says it's out of the question he was handed a hefty €10,000 fine in Japan for being 5 seconds late to the national anthem presentation, despite a verified stomach issue. Sainz initially stated he was feeling discomfort ahead of the anthem, with the issue then verified and treated. But with the Spaniard late to the grid, the steward said all parties need to consider every eventuality and fined him €20,000, almost 22,000 in US dollars, of which 10,000 is suspended for 12 months. The Spaniard, though, spoke out about the injustice of it in Bahrain. To be 5 seconds late and have to pay €10,000 or whatever the fine is for me out of the question, Sainz said. Ex-F1 driver Johnny Herbert has backed Sergio Perez for a 2026 F1 return at new team Cadillac, with the Brit stating that the move makes sense based on what he can bring to the American team. Perez was dropped from Red Bull's roster at the end of last year after a 4-season tenure due to his lack of results and gap to teammate Max Verstappen. But the change has since highlighted just how difficult the car is to drive, with Herbert stating that Checo did a good job at Red Bull and would be an asset to Cadillac given his raw pace and passion. Coming into the sport, they'll have someone with that experience which would only benefit them in the car, in the factory, and also in the various American markets, Herbert said. Next month's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at classic Italian track Imola will see F1 tyre supplier Pirelli introduce its all-new softest compound, the C6, a step softer than the current soft benchmark C5 tyre. F1 has run the C5 just once this year, with Saudi Arabia and Miami ahead the next chance for that compound. But Imola will see the C6's debut, with a likely follow-up at Monaco after it. And there's a strategy behind the new compound's introduction. For 2025, we have a wider range of options compared to last year. There is more effective spacing between the various compounds in terms of performance, and overall, they seem to be less prone to both tread surface overheating and graining, said Mario Isola, Pirelli Motorsport Director. McLaren made a seismic announcement in Bahrain last week, with news it'll join the World Endurance Championship's hypercar class from 2027. McLaren already competes in 5 series, including F1, IndyCar, Formula E, F1 Academy, and the F1 Sim Racing Championship. Its foray into WEC's hypercar class will see it compete with elite F1 rivals Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Alpine, and top sports car concerns like Toyota, Peugeot, BMW, and Cadillac. McLaren won Le Mans outright in 1995 on its first attempt, with Yannick Dalmas, JJ Leto, and Masanori Secchia racing the iconic F1 GTR BMW. Two-wheel pinnacle MotoGP is soon set to be in the hands of F1's owner Liberty Media, with the $3.8 billion deal reportedly on the cusp of being blessed by the European Union. The MotoGP takeover deal was initially announced in April last year, with the EU investigation into whether the bid contravenes both antitrust and competitive laws begun in December. But according to a report from Newswire Reuters, the EU Commission is set to rubber stamp the deal, and without demanding any concessions from Liberty Media. The mass media company, though, has denied owning both F1 and MotoGP could create a monopoly on broadcast rights. There is a very large and growing market for audiovisual entertainment well beyond sports, and the transaction will enhance MotoGP's ability to compete in this highly competitive market, said a Liberty Media spokesperson. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.